Hello wonderful people, welcome back to my YouTube channel and you're welcome to another tutorial. So guys, in today's tutorial I'm going to be taking you along how I made this very beautiful 360-degree flace skirt. As you can see, it has a waistband and it has a side pocket. You can see that it's a mini skirt and it's so nice and anybody can just try this on. So guys, if you're ready, don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and let's just get into the video. So for this tutorial I'll be using an Ankara fabrics and this is a 2-yard fabrics. So the first thing we're going to do is to open it up to the wrong side. So after folding it into two to the wrong side, just like the way it appeared by the camera, the next thing we're going to do is to go ahead and fold it again. Then we just hold the angle in which we are folded into two. Then we'll go ahead and fold it again. So having folded it into four, the next thing we are going to do is to input our waist measurements, any desired place you desire for the skirt to stay along your waistline. So for us to input our waist measurements, we are going to ensure that we are putting the measurements at where the fabric does not have any joining, folded into four. And that is the reason why the 360-degree flace skirt. So the waist measurement is 32 inches and 32 divided by 4 is 8. We'll be adding about half inches seam allowance to it. So we'll be using 8.5 as the radius. So what we're going to do is for us to be able to get the 8.5, we can just subtract about 2 inches from the 8.5, which is going to be 6. So I'm just going to go ahead and mark out 6 inches all round in a circular form, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. Mark it and we connect it back. So having marked out the 6 inches all round, this is what it looks like. What we're going to do next is just to confirm if we have exactly 8.5 inches. So we take our tape rule from here, then we just go around to confirm the measurement. 9.5. After measuring, we have about 9.5 here. So obviously this radius is too much. What we're going to do is just to take about half inches away from it and it's going to be fine. So we can just take back half inches. So having gone up by about half inches, we connect the half inches together. Then having done that, we can go ahead and measure this place. Measure again to confirm if we have exactly 8.5. So after measuring, we have about 8.5. The remaining can just go into the zipper allowance again. So we'll be using this first line and this second line we can just clean it off because the measurement is too wild. So that is the best way you can do it. After marking out the circular form. If it's too wild, you can just go ahead and go up by about half inches. Let's say after going up with about half inches is still wide, you can still just keep going up till you get your actual measurement. So this is our actual measurement now. So having done this, the next thing for us to do is to take the full length of our skirt, and for this particular skirt is going to be a short skirt and I don't want it to have joining underneath. So there's going to be about 1.5 or 2 inches band up. So from there we can just go ahead and measure whatever we have here. We have 19 inches here and that will be fine for a short skirt. So I will just use the 19 inches. In case you want your skirt to be more longer, that means it is going to have joining around this side. So after taking your desired measurement here, you can take your desired measurements here. Then having done that, you can just join to this place. That is if you want the skirt to be very long. It's going to have a joining unless you are using a fabric which is about 60 inches length, but an Ankara fabric is usually about 45. So that is the reason why it's usually have joining around this side. But for this side, you can just go ahead and use the actual measurements depending on how long you want it. Then for this side you add, that is if you want it to be a very long one. So I'm just going to go ahead and place the measurements all around. So starting from here, this is about 17 inches. We continue measuring our 17 inches like this. So I just hope you can see the lines perfectly, because this chalk is almost like the color of the fabrics. So this is how it goes like. This is how it goes like. Then this is our upper part of the fleece skirt. So the next thing I'm going to do after this is just to cut out the marked measurements. So after cutting out the mark measurement, the next thing for us to do, we are going to go ahead and slit only one side of the skirt opened, and that is because the zip is going to go across that line. So the next thing for us to do is to launch this place. We just place launches here, and this launch here is going to determine where the side of the skirt is going to be. And this place, we are also going to launch this place. This is going to be the center front of the skirt. Launch the center front, and the zip is going to be at the back. So the back for the front, and this will be the side. You can just go ahead and open it up like this. So this is going to be the side of the skirt. The thing for us to do is to mark out the pocket. So for us to be able to mark out our pocket, remember that this place is not going to have any slits. There's like a straight line, a green line here, connecting the side all the way to the hem. So at this green line here, we'll take our tape rule like this, place it directly at where we launched, going straight down almost towards the hem. Then we come down with about 1.5 inches. We'll mark the 1.5 inches. Go down to mark our pocket opening. We'll be using a pocket opening of about 7 inches. Also chop that out. So this particular place is where we are going to slit open, and this is where we are going to attach our pocket to. We are going to slit only this place opened, and for us to achieve that, we are going to go ahead and fold the fabrics like this, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. You can just fold the fabrics like this, like into two. Then having done that, we can use our scissors and just mark this place. So after opening this up, we just go ahead and open it up to the place that we marked. So when it's remaining about 1 cm for us to get to the actual launch, we are just going to tilt this place outward, like the way it's appearing by the camera. We tilt it outward like this, like a launch. You place the launch around here, like this. So we are going to do the same thing for this upper side as well. So this particular place is where we are going to attach our pocket to. So when we get to the sewing machine, you understand better how we are going to fix the pocket. So guys, there's a particular thing I quickly want to impute. Remember that by the time I wanted to launch the side and the center front, we did not launch the zipper allowance. So if you want to do yours, the first thing for you to launch is where your zip will be staying. So when you launch where your zip will be staying, you go ahead and fold the fabrics. The fabric is not going to be folded equally. You fold the fabrics like this. Then after doing this, you can go ahead and launch the center, front, and the side. So I just hope that makes sense to you. So that is going to give you an accurate measurement. So the next thing for us to cut out is the waistband, and for us to cut out the waistband, we're just going to go ahead and fold the fabrics into two, just like this, like the way it's appearing by the camera. Then having folded it into two, we are going to go ahead and fold it again like this. Fold it like this again. Then having done that, the next thing for us to do, we're going to impute our waist measurement. Our waist measurement is about 8 inches. So we have to refold these fabrics till it gets to 8 inches on fold. This 8 inches is for the actual waist measurement. Then having done that, we're going to add about 1/2 allowance, which we use for the zip allowance. The band is going to be on fold, so we are going to use about 4 inches. We'll be using 4 inches for the width of the band, and while we fold it, it's going to give us 2 plus the seam allowance, so we end up having about 1/2 inches as the actual band. So we just mark out the 4 inches. The next thing for us to do is to cut out the band. You can add an interfacing to make the band more rigid and have a better fitting if you want to. So the last thing we'll be cutting out is the pockets, and for us to cut the pockets, we'll fold our fabrics into two. We measure about 6.5 inches. For the length of the pocket, we'll be using about 10 inches. Remember, the actual slit we have on the pocket is about 7 inches, so we are just going to use about 7.5 plus the seam allowance we are going to use to join it up. We'll mark 7.5 inches like this. Then having done this, we'll go inward. You can go inward with about half inches for the seam allowance. Then having done that, we'll go ahead and just cuff out the pocket. So just leave about half inches from here, and after that you can just cuff out this place as well. Cut out the pocket. Place this on another fabric and cut out the second pocket. So the next thing we are going to do is just to get to the sewing machine and stitch them down. For the sewing, the first thing I'll be doing is I'll be using a French seam to hem the lower part of the pocket, and that is going to make it more rigid. For us to do that, we open the pocket to the right side like this, make the right side appear outward. And having done that, starting from this place, you know, we launched about half inches for the pocket to be stitched to the main fabric. So from this place, I'm just going to run a direct stitch like this, then turn it to the other side and top stitch it. Just going to top stitch it. So the next thing for us to do is to fix the pocket to the main fabrics through this place that we have slitted open for the pocket. And for us to achieve that, we are going to take this side of the pocket, we want to open it up, and we are going to make the right side of the main fabrics face the right side of the pocket. So at the lower part here, place incline like this, make it all there, then we hold it like this. And having held it like this, we're just going to stitch directly on it using about 1 cm. Go ahead and join the side to the pockets. So this is how the pocket looks like after attaching it to where we slitted open. So for us to finish it up, we'll make sure that this particular place that we launched is being straightened out like this. Then starting from about half inches before we go to the actual launch of the pocket, I'm just going to take something like a dart and I'm going to connect it back like this, just like the way it's appearing by the camera. You can just go ahead and trim out the excess in this upper part of the pocket. We're also going to use a dart to finish up the upper part. Then we'll take the dart like this and connect it back. You can just go ahead and give it a good press. And also note that while connecting the dart to the pocket, I ensure that the seam allowance is facing directly at the pocket so that it can relax well. So this is how the pocket looks like, and you can see that it's having a nice finishing. So just the same way I attached the first pocket, I'm just going to go ahead and fix the second pocket. Is to attach the band to it, and there are two ways of attaching the band. So you can either choose to fold the band into two like this, fold it into two. Then having done that, you can just put it directly in the main fabrics, then stitch it all around. Or another method you can use is to open it up like this, open it up like this, stitch this place all round first. After stitching this place all round, you use this one to cover it up. We fold this, you can just use an hemming gum to secure it. hem about hem about 1 cm or half inches. Then having done that, you can use this to cover it up, just like how they used to stitch trousers band. Then having done that, you can just come back here and inseam it, but I'll not be using that particular method for this. So that is the second method you can use if you don't want to use the direct stitching. You can So this is how the band looks like after attaching it to the main fabrics. So while fixing the band, I noticed that there was a little excess of the main fabrics than the band. So what I just did is that I pleated the little excess in the center front. Please don't pleat any excess by the side because it's going to affect the pocket. The best way to overcome that error is, even before fixing the band, you can just go ahead and use your tape rule to measure the circumference of the main skirt again, confirm the measurement, and if it have any excesses, you can just do well to trim it out even before placing the lunch. So having attached the band, the next thing for us to do is to fix the zip on it. And for us to do that, we are going to take our tape rule, starting from the center front. We'll make sure that the fabric is being folded way into two. Then we'll measure our waist circumference, which is about 16 inches. So starting from here, that means our zip allowance is just about half inches. So we're going to take our zip and we're going to place it like this just to know the guide of where we are going to start closing up the zip allowance. So starting from around here, I'm just going to go ahead and run a straight stitch like this to close the lower part of the skirt. So this is how it looks like after fixing the zip, and the last thing we'll be doing is just to hem it. And for us to hem it, we'll fold the fabrics just like the way it's appearing by the camera. We'll fold it into two like this, then we'll run direct stitch at it.